Hi, my name is Grace Van Skyver and I'm the 2020 Pennsylvania State Fair Queen, and today I'm learning how to make apple butter, and I'm here with Shirley and she's going to teach us how.
Okay.
So, how do you get the sauce from the apple?
First you have to cook apples, and I already have cooked them, and then you have to get the sauce out of the apples, and you can do that by a couple different ways. I typically use my food mill here. I'm still a little old-fashioned on that. This is another item that you can use. It's called a Victoria strainer. I use this for some things, but not for my applesauce. Okay. So I'll just do a little bit here, show you how you just work this around here. And you can see that the sauce is coming out. The skins and like seeds and everything else will stay inside this container here. Okay. And you can see where the sauce is coming out.
Do you think one works better than the other, the Victoria?
I like this here better. I use my Victoria strainer for other things such as my tomatoes or something like that. But for applesauce, I always go with that. That's the way my grandmother taught me to do it.
Oh wow, okay. So we have applesauce here, and
yes.
Then you use the ingredients from the applesauce
yes.
to put in
this
the
is
butter.
what the applesauce will look like. Okay. And then I will add the sugar to it. And apple cider vinegar. It's best to use the apple cider vinegar in this rather than the straight vinegar.
Okay.
It gives it a better flavor.
I wouldn't have guessed that vinegar would be a part of apple butter, but
a lot of people don't. Yeah.
Okay. So is apple butter considered a fruit butter? And what is a fruit butter?
A fruit butter, it's basically the pulp of the fruit.
Okay. Okay. And so what other fruits are typically used in fruit butter?
You can use like peach, pear, cherry, tomato even. People use tomato. Apricot, almost any type of fruit you can use to make a butter.
Okay, and so after you're done mixing, how do you cook an apple butter?
We actually put it in the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for like 3 hours. So I will now open the oven. If you will open that for me, and I will put this in here. And then we cook that for 3 hours, and then after that we would get it back out. Okay. And then I would have to add the other ingredients to it. Okay. Which it would be cinnamon, allspice, and cloves.
Okay.
And this is what gives it its flavor, and it will eventually turn really dark brown.
Okay.
So we'll stir this in here, and then we will put it in the oven again. And then you just let it cook in here, or bake in here. I will get one out that we already done.
We prepared another one ahead of time.
Okay. But you need to get it to a consistency, a spreading consistency, which now you see it's a lot thicker because it cooks together there, and it's a lot darker than what we originally had started out with.
Oh my goodness. So after this, I see you have a jar here. What types of jars do you use to store this in after it's done?
It has to be a standard canning jar.
Okay.
So a lot of people just use the standard jelly jars.
It looks like
but people tend to use apple butter a little bit more than your other fruit spreads.
Okay.
So a lot of people put it in like pint jars or quart jars. You can use any kind of standard jar, but you would fill this in here.
Alright, so to preserve this, obviously you need a lid, and I know it has to seal, and typically we just see that at grocery stores at the finished product. So how at home do you get the lid to seal up?
Well, you need to use a hot water bath for that.
Okay.
And you don't want to fill it all the way to the top. You need to have some head space there, like a 1/4 inch head space. And then you would put this lid, this is the lid that you were talking about, your canning lid. And you put that on and seal, turn it tight. And you wanted to know about how to get that lid down, right? Well, you need to put it in the hot water bath, which will turn around here to the stove. I have a pot with hot water, boiling water on here. You put that in there, and the water is supposed to come up over the lid, and then you let that in there for like maybe 15-20 minutes at 180 to 185 degrees.
Okay, so it's typical like canning procedure. I've done some peaches in my time.
Yeah.
So why is it important to use hot water rather than a different temperature?
Because you need to get rid of all the mold, the yeast, all the bacteria that is in there. And with that hot water, it's going to create a vacuum, which then this middle thing here in the middle here, that will actually go down. Like right now, you can touch it and it will go up and down. But when it is properly sealed, you touch it and it will not be popping up and down anymore.
Okay, so when it's all said and done, what are typically things you see apple butter being used on? Different breads or just...
You can use it on anything. I know I use it on corn fritters.
Okay.
People use it on bread. They mix it. It's a Pennsylvania Dutch tradition around here for apple butter and cottage cheese that they use it for.
Okay.
So it's basically a Pennsylvania Dutch tradition around here for apple butter. We always have apple butter here.
Okay, well there you have it. We have a traditional apple butter and maybe you guys can make it at home. So thank you for watching. And thank you, Shirley, for teaching us.
You're welcome.